you asked every top trainer, instructor in Hubert, you have done a wonderful job. If you just read Hubert's emails, he is right on his emails. If you read the emails he sends out every week on how to get buyers and sellers and business and tips, he is so tuned into the Coldwell Banker system. If you read his emails, you're gonna, and do anything from that, you're gonna do well. And I think you would probably agree, I think every trainer in the nation would agree with me, that if we could say only one thing on how to get business, one thing, long term, it's your sphere of influence, Tom. And you have that. Nobody likes you, because you're never right.
Daryl, I have to tell you, that's my story when I first moved here. I moved into an apartment. And there was a young couple who lived right below me. And she called me and she said, we're having a volcano game tonight and we need a sub. This was a bunch of young girls. I said, I never played volcano, and I don't want to. Oh yes, come on, play with us. They would not let me leave that club. And out of that one group of girls that year, I sold over $2 million worth. Still have them, a lot of them as my clients. And then, I think one of the things that I don't like cold calling and all that. The most expensive house I ever sold, when the doctor that operated on me. His wife was his anesthetist, and I said something about, I know y'all need a house. He says, we'll have to talk to my wife. Well, I came to, she was standing over me. And she said, Tommy says that you're a realtor. I said, yes. She said, well, I really would like to move. I've sold them 4 houses. And so really, that's the way I do it. I'm not a cold caller.
Hey, Daryl, tell them how you do it. Calvert Crossing.
That's when Wendy golf.
Yeah.
I was at Calvert. Sunday afternoon, was it? No.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Thursday, Friday.
And
I was at
Paul is
Calvert.
up here every day studying.
4 or 5 days ago, I was at Calvert. The little girl that worked in the thing, her parents were there. And I went over and said hello. We talked. They said they really needed to sell their house. And I said, okay. And they said, asked if I would handle it. I said, you know, I haven't listed a house since 1948, but they said, well, I meant your wife. And I said, well, yeah. So I text you and said, call this guy. You met with him the other day, and what happened?
Well, actually, it was a really good day. It was Sunday, I went to look at their house, and these are the sellers. They wanted to know exactly what to do, and they were willing to do anything and everything I said to get the house sold quick. So they're putting like $10,000 in the house, okay? They're selling that house, $180,000-$90,000 range, buying a $350,000 house. We went and looked that day. And their brother and sister-in-law are moving back here, who happened to show up while I was there, and they're buying a $200,000 house. Then their friends came over, and they want to buy a $100,000 house. So out of that one deal.
Because Daryl Beasley got up out of bed in the morning
And went to work.
and went to work.
And that's why it's a tax deduction.
Let me add that. When I was a social worker, and I did that right out of college before I was a realtor, and our director of nursing, she told me, I said, look, I was young, I just got married, and I wanted to get a house. And she said, look, I know a guy, he is a real estate god. And his name is Daryl
Dwayne
Beasley.
Sutton.
His name is Daryl Beasley. And Daryl worked for Century 21. He didn't own Coldwell Banker. Back then it would have been Group 1. And he was my realtor. And I was pregnant with my first daughter, who is now 17, will be a senior this year. But he was my realtor. I don't even know if he remembers that, because back then I was blonde.
You were blonde Thursday.
I was blonde actually growing up, but I turned dark hair when I was 27. Was I 25 or 26?
You were young and good looking, is all I remember.
Anyway, he goes, we ended up buying her for sale by owner, and that's the end of the story. I was worried to death. We were ready, and I was pregnant, and I remember him going, I didn't know anything about real estate, and I certainly wasn't a realtor yet, and I remember him going, well, what? What happened? What? Give me their number and everything, but it was too late, and I always felt bad about that, but a year later, I came to work for
There you
him.
go. And I have not forgiven you yet.
Yeah, a year later, he was Group 1 realtor. I was called the 5th realtor to come here.
Yeah. Okay, but we're talking about relationships, okay? And your sphere of influence, the number one thing, long term, if you leave here today, we're gonna talk about the several different things that you can do to get business. But long term, if your sphere of influence is basically just a list of people that if they were to buy a house, that they would use John Obed. If they were to buy or sell a house, people that John knows, that they have enough confidence in him that they would use him. When I first started back to real estate here from lending, I didn't know what a sphere of influence was. All I knew is I had a little yellow legal pad, and I made a list of people, and then I had an assistant, and she knew how to put it on a database, and I had experience one day with somebody that I helped that I did not sell a house to, and I realized that this gal is going to use me if she buys it. And I started thinking, it's not just people that I've sold houses to, but anybody that had confidence in me to, if they were to buy a house, they would use me. And man, I started calling her from the car and thinking of people to add to that list. So I don't go to church, and I don't go to functions, and I don't hit on people. Oh, you need to buy a house from today. You hate those people that come. You know they're going to sell you something, and you avoid them. But you've got to start with a list. This is the cheapest, easiest, simplest thing. You can do this in 3-4 hours. Go play golf, go to the mall, whatever, and know that you've just added $30,000 a year to your income. But make a list of everybody that you can think of that has confidence in you. Then, what do you have to do?
Call.
You got to do something with it. Just stay in touch. Just stay in touch. And I've told many of you before, I bought a car from Ryan Chevrolet or something, I think, and I love the guy that sold me the car. There was no, and I wanted to buy another one 3-4 years later. I could not remember his name. I called, they wouldn't give me names, bought one from somebody else. If he'd sent me something just once a year, he would have had another sale. So make your list and then send them something. There are automated services. If any of y'all are using those, let me know. There are automated services for pennies. They will automatically, you just send them your sphere of influence, and they will send something out with your name, your phone number, your picture, every 3 months or every how often?
4 times a year.
4 times a year.
Well, we've got Coldwell Banker Works, Daryl, too, that you can go in and pick out any e-cards you want.
Yeah,
You can-
Coldwell Banker Works, you can go
You
in.
can send out, like I could be sending, I could already have my Christmas card
Yeah,
for now.
but I'll leave it at that. Your sphere of influence, make a list, do something with it. I send something every 3 months. Charlotte was, when I first started Group 1 Realty, Charlotte,
Broke his teeth on
we would sit down every morning, have meetings. We had our buyers in groups of A, B, C, and D, and we would talk about them every day and what to do. But I would do different things for different groups. My A people, I might send them something nice. B or C, I would send them at Christmas some little thing. But do something with it. If nothing else, just send them a little email or something every 3 months. And they will remember you, and you will get repeat referrals, 90-95% of all your top agents. Glenda,
Give up on
don't give up.
it. That's amazing.